Dustin Tibbetts with Passport to Wall Street, and today we're going to talk about the global markets and how that may affect the U.S. markets if you're a long-term investor. See, there's a pattern, if you will, over the long term of how U.S. markets do relative to the global markets. The general consensus is the better the world does, the better the U.S. does. The better the U.S. does, the better the world does. But sometimes there's a divergence between how the rest of the world is doing and the U.S. And so the question is, if the rest of the world starts slowly getting weaker, will the U.S. eventually fall with it? And so the answer is yes. If we go back in history and we see all the times where the global markets are starting to get weaker, the U.S. tends to follow if it's already trending higher. Well, what do we have right now? We have the U.S. markets just continuously trending higher. But if you look around the world, you're seeing weakness in Japan, in China, all the way to Brazil, of course. And so what I wanted to do is share with you a little bit of a chart today to kind of show you what's going on there. And so if I pull up the chart, what this is a comparison of the United States versus some of the other countries. You've got Brazil, Mexico, China, Germany, and of course China is mixed in there in a couple different ways. Now the blue line, if you look at the very top, that's the U.S. Now the U.S. can continue to trend higher if the rest of the world's markets do the same. However, they don't have to do so at the same pace. So if you're familiar with an uptrend means a series of higher lows and higher highs, meaning as you're trending higher, you kind of pull back less than you did the time before and the time before that. Now, the U.S. can trend higher while the rest of the world's markets are trending higher only at a slower pace. However, if you look at this chart, you can see that the rest of the worlds have essentially flattened out. The blue line, again, is the U.S., and then everything below that is the rest of the world. And so we've got essentially a flat line of performance for the rest of the world, some of them currently in a downtrend. Now, that can't stay that way and have the U.S. continuing to trend higher. What eventually will happen is it'll pull the U.S. down with it. Now, like I said, the other world markets, as of the last couple weeks, have started to pull back, started to rally a little bit, ever so slightly, which can make a good tailwind for the U.S. markets. However, if they do continue to sort of flatline and enter into a downtrend, it will likely not be very long before the U.S. happens to fall into that downtrend with it. So just wanted to show you a quick comparison of how the world markets compare to the U.S. and give you a little bit of history there as well. We need the world markets to continue moving in the upward direction as they have been in the past couple weeks. If not, expect to see a little turbulence here in the U.S. Well, I hope that helps you, give you a little glimpse of what to see around the world. And sometimes it makes sense to take a peek around the world and see what's going on if you're not already in tune with that. I hope it helps you. I hope you make a profit, and we'll talk to you soon.